Welcome back to AC's Fantasy Recap. We're going to be going over the Week 1 matchups today, and I just wanted to start off by saying that football is back, baby. It's the best time of year. I don't care that summer's over. I don't care that it's getting colder. I love sitting on my ass all Sunday watching games, and I couldn't be happier. Hope you guys feel the same way. Wanted to start off by saying, or more so posing a question. Is it irrational to love football this much? And I have a story. Last night, me and Brittany, late at night, we're laying in our bed. She's on her phone. And I have the Monday night game up with Seahawks and Broncos. And I kid you not, when I literally jumped out of bed when Jerry Jeudy caught that 70-yard touchdown from Russell Wilson, scared the shit out of Brittany, had no idea what was going on. And I'm just running around my room so happy. That's the beauty of fantasy. You know, you give a shit about these meaningless games, your players that anybody else probably don't even know, but that's okay. Fantasy is my thing. I hope fantasy is your guys' thing, and just super excited to get the season going. Before we jump into the matchups, I wanted to talk about untouchable players, because this is a topic that comes up a lot when people are trying to trade. And I think everyone has this guy on their team that they are just over the moon about, and they're not going to trade him. You can give them a ridiculous offer, but they're just not going to let him go. And I think it's a little too early to do that. Personally, I don't think anybody should be untouchable. If you get an amazing trade offer for your top guy where you're getting, 2-3 guys back, you're filling a need that you have, I think you should be open to trade anyone on your team. That being said, after week 1, I think I got 3 guys, maybe 4, but I think this 4th guy just missed the list of who I would consider untouchable. And those players are Justin Jefferson, Patrick Mahomes, and Saquon Barkley. The 4th guy that just missed my list is Josh Allen. I think you can make a good case that he is also untouchable. He had a couple turnovers in that game. It was a little sloppy, but their offense is just going to be so goddamn explosive throughout the season that, you might want to hold on to him unless you get something crazy. But the 3 guys that I mentioned, JJ just looked so freaking good. And I'll do a little Vikings recap at the end of the pod, but oh my God, that was so much fun to watch. Mahomes, I think he had like 5 touchdowns, looked unstoppable as well. That team's going to be elite. I can't believe all the negative buzz they were getting in the offseason because, this team's going to be good. Pat's going to spread the ball around. It sucks losing Tyreek Hill, but they're going to be just fine. And Saquon, I know he is probably the one guy of the 3 that shouldn't be untouchable just because of his injury history, but he looked so awesome yesterday. And I know if I know anything about Jeff, I think he's going to be holding on to Saquon. So I'm sure other people in our league, they have their guys that are untouchable. But if I was just making a list today, I would say those 3 are probably not going to be on the trading block anytime soon. So, don't let that stop you from making an offer, trying to make a crazy trade. I love trades in this league. It's so boring when we never trade, but just watch out for those guys. All right, since I waited so long to talk about myself in the previous pod, I'm going to start with my matchup with Mr. Sam Elliott. I won this week, 122-96. As I mentioned, I had a big trade before the season started. I traded Lamar Jackson, Dalvin Cook, Alexander Madison to Jeffery Osborne, which I think this caused a little bit of controversy in our league. I think people thought I gave up too much. Jeff has a good team. People don't want Jeff to get better. He's always in it late in the season. Before those three, I picked up Chase Edmonds, Jerry Jeudy, Damian Pierce, and Juju Smith-Schuster. And I actually only started one of them, Jerry Jeudy in my flex, 18.2. Loved what I saw from him. But I would say right now that the trade looks pretty even. I still have huge holes in my team. I don't have running backs. Damian Pierce didn't do what I wanted him to do. So I might have to switch some guys out. I mean, Cam Akers, what the fuck? He's just not the starting running back? I don't. Why do they do this whole song and dance about he's back, he looks great from his Achilles, and then they only give him like 3 opportunities? I've seen the plays. I see, he doesn't pick up the rushing lineman that blows up Matt Stafford. It seems like there's some effort from the Rams on his part where he doesn't take advantage of his opportunities. But 3 attempts for 0 points? What the fuck is that? We'll deal with it. I did mention in my draft recap for Sam about Aaron Jones, and he put up 9.1. He got a heavy workload, but this is the concern because A.J. Dillon looked amazing. He was getting a lot of short catches from Aaron Rodgers. He looked explosive, and they're just going to run this 2-back system, which, concerns me week in and week out with Aaron Jones because you never know if he's going to get the touchdowns. You never know how active he's going to be in the offense with A.J. Dillon there. So that's a concern. Sam didn't do horrible by any means this week, 96 points. That usually puts you, on the losing end, but, it's not putting up like a 70 bomb or 65 or something like that. So I think his team will end up being fine. Kind of weird week for me. Steelers D put up 22. I hate the TJ Watt news. Sounds like he's not out for the season. They reported that immediately, but now it sounds like it might only be like 5-6 weeks. So not sure if they're going to be a weekly starter for me, but fuck yeah, they put up 22. Help me win the week. Next up, we got Josh Palmer and Sam Nodler, and this was the heavyweight fight of the week. They were the 2 highest scorers. Always sucks when you're on the lower end of the 2 highest scorers and only get that 1 point. But Nod's team looked great by any means. Actually had a chance to win it with the Brandon McManus 64-yarder. Not quite sure what the fuck the Broncos were doing. He's got a big leg, but I'm sure Nods was watching that one closely, and Nods, hang in there. You got a good squad. Just not your week. Josh's team looked really solid. I don't know if he really had any standout players. Travis Kelce put up 22, probably tight end 1 this year, but other than that, just solid performances from his team. Kareem Hunt with 21. I think that's going to be inconsistent, to say the least, but he's gonna steal some touchdowns from Nick Chubb, so probably a weekly starter for him. But yeah, waiting for that breakout star on his team. But just a solid overall performance for him, and congratulations on getting the week 1 top scorer, you son of a bitch. Next up, we got Tate and Wooly, and RIP Dak Prescott. Tate will be making a trade this week. He's probably talked to 9 of the 11 other teams, maybe all 11. Unfortunate injury for him. I think he's out 6 to 8 weeks. I don't even know if Tate has a backup on the roster, so he's going to be waiver wire hunting. But he's also going to be trading. So those untouchables I was talking about, he's looking for them. So look for something ridiculous from Tate. Great start for Jonathan Taylor from Wooly. Couldn't ask for more out of your the number one pick. Was he the most expensive player when we drafted? I'm pretty sure he was. 25.5 looked great. The Colts suck, so he's going to be getting a huge workload. Sure, Wooly's happy with that number one overall pick. The problem with Wooly's team, kicker problems. Nick Folk, only 1 point. Wooly might be looking for a kicker trade. Who's got Justin Tucker? Young Ho? No, let's not get crazy. But other than that, Wooly's team looks really solid. Like I said, the big guys up top, Justin Herbert putting up 23. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was getting work. What the hell? Where did that come from? 20.9 for him, a couple tutties. So, team looks good. This is going to be a contender for sure this year. But Wooly with the win, 115 to 95. Congrats, Wool. Good start. Jared and Justin. I was looking at Jared's point total. How the hell does Joe Burrow end up with 18.1 with 5 turnovers? I've seen some other leagues where they do like the -4 for interceptions. I don't know if they do -4 for fumbles, probably. But, I've always agreed with the 2, but you have 5 turnovers and you still end up with 18 fantasy points. That seems ridiculous to me. I don't know if that's a change that we want to make next year. Not if it happens to my guy, but for Jared getting 18 out of Joe Burrow, that seems pretty crazy. Justin, what was the final here? It was 115 to 100. Justin had some big outputs from Michael Pittman Jr. with 22, Josh Allen on Thursday night, 31, Miles Sanders getting 17. But honestly, I see a couple of Justin's bench players getting in the lineup next week, specifically Jalen Waddle and Michael Carter. Bryce Hall, for the New York Jets. I don't think he's going to be the starter going forward. I think Michael Carter is going to get the workload. David Montgomery, 6.5 for Justin in his starting lineup. Conditions were terrible, but I don't know. I could see him making the move at running back, but he could also throw one of these guys in his flex. I think Keenan Allen is hurt too. Was there like just a million injuries this week? Certainly seemed like it. A lot of big injuries around the league. I don't know if that's typical from years past, week 1, but God, it seemed like a lot, didn't it? The one shining grace for Jared, Young Hoku, baby. 18 points. I mean, you love to see the reunion. You love to see Young Hope showing up and showing out for Jared's team. It's just a beautiful relationship between them, and I love to see it again. Next on the docket, we got Schneider and Aaron and Justin Jefferson, baby. Think pretty much single-handedly won this matchup for Aaron. Looked unstoppable. High score of the week, 34.9. Just going to be huge. I do not see Aaron trading this guy ever. Probably a waste of time to even talk to him about it. Good news for Schneider. I think Najee Harris avoided a high ankle sprain. Sounds like he's going to be ready to go next week. That would have been brutal for his team. I don't know how long high ankle sprains last, but it's got to be like 8 weeks. So avoided that. Didn't have a ton of points for him, but I think going forward, the Steelers, he's probably the best offensive weapon on the Steelers. So going to need him in the lineup going forward. Cooper Kupp did great for him. Mike Evans got a touchdown. Need a little more from the flex players. He's got some guys on his bench that he could put in. Jahan Dotson had 16.5 for him on the bench. So maybe he makes a switch to his lineup starting next week. Schneider, I got to tell you, I had Kyle Pitts last year, and he was the most frustrating player. He's easily the best offensive player that the Falcons have. They put up 26 points, but he only ends with 2.9 fantasy points. I don't understand why they're not throwing to him. They line him up like a wide receiver. He should be getting you touchdowns, 8 catches a week, 60 plus yards. It's frustrating, man. Welcome to the Kyle Pitts show. It's going to be a long year for you. Last not last matchup. Last matchup, Jeff and Higgins. Jeffery gets it done. Like I said earlier, I think the trade seems pretty fair as of now. He had Lamar Jackson get 20.2 for him. He had QB issues for the start of the season. I think he filled that with the trade. Dalvin Cook still ended with 12.3. No touchdowns, no crazy long runs, but gets the workload done. And he's bound to boom at some point during the season. Saquon, like I said, 30.4 looks awesome. He's going to be good for another 2 weeks before he goes down. So enjoy the points while you can, Jeffrey. Higgins' team, Trey Lance did not look great, and neither did Aaron Rodgers, who you also got in your squad. Might be in the market for a QB for Higgins. Trey Lance, it was an awful weather game, so I can't totally put the blame on him, but not what you want to see from the second-year quarterback. Not really getting any points for you there. But we'll see. We'll see with it. I think this was the most lopsided victory of the week, 118-86. Higgins has some work to do. Definitely has some work to do. I'm going to give you guys the standings after week 1. Thank you to Josh for getting that out so early, and I think correctly. Already in midseason form, Josh. Way to go. We got Jay Palms at 1, yours truly at 2, Jeff at 3, Justin at 4, Wooly at 5, all of us at 2 points. Sam Nodler, like I said, a disappointing loss, but scored in the top half this week. He's sitting at 6 with 1 point. Aaron Schwecky got the win, did not finish in the top half. He is also at 1 point. And then zeros are Jay Bloom, Sam Elliott, Tate Garrett, Zach Schneider, and Alexander Higgins bringing up the rear. It's early. We saw our dead last players end up in the playoffs last year, so it's a long season, but obviously for those with the 2 points, great to start off hot. All right, let's do a quick Vikings recap before we end the pod. The Vikes look awesome. That was an amazing way to start the season. I know I've mentioned Justin Jefferson a lot this podcast, but holy shit. Why don't we throw that dude the ball 20 times a game? He catches anything within 5 yards of him. He has 4 or 5 yards of separation every time he gets the ball. I don't know what the Packers were fucking doing. I don't think they knew what they were doing. Double, triple this guy. He seems like the best player in the league right now. Always good to beat the Packers. Aaron Rodgers, bitch made. We all knew that. He probably should have spent a little more time working on that football game rather than going on every fucking pod known to man. Might get him on this pod. He seems to just love to do it, so we'll see what we can book for later on in the season. But yeah, I think all 3 phases for the Vikings looked awesome. Our defense held them to 7 points. Offense. The one concern is I feel like we just go through these stretches where we do nothing. It's not like one drive, we have a 3 and out and then we come back. It seems like we go like 2, 3, 4 drives with just nothing. I want us to keep our foot on the gas. We were definitely doing that in the first half. I think it was probably scoring related in the second half where we were just up, kind of ball management, clock control, all that jazz. But God, I'd love to just see us put up like a 50 bomb on one of these teams. And I think we can. We look great. I don't want to get too high on the Vikings, but I'm gonna, because that's what we do here in Minnesota. So next up for the Vikes, we got Monday Night Football in Philly. I think Philly is like a -2 favorite starting off. I feel like that line's going to change. I would hammer the Vikings in that one. I know Philly won, but they won by like 3 against Detroit in a shootout. I just think we're better. So throw some money on that. Thank yours truly when you cash out. Shorter pod this week. Don't want to do too long. I know you guys are probably getting sick of my voice already, but thank you for joining us this week. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll catch you for week 2. All right, thanks everybody. Bye.